with King Von wasn't the most pleasant, and I kind of vowed after that not to do any more content on King Von.
Once he got the clear that Vaughn was gone, it was like, okay, let me destroy his name. I'm trying to. This is what I want to discuss. Certain parts I was like, I like Trap Lord, but certain shit he was saying, I was just totally not agreeing with it.
Got shooters in London, things like that. You know, saying we're gonna get you touched, we're gonna find out where you live.
Boy, cause you messing with them real Chirac hitters, man. What up, YouTube? It's your girl, TT Shanell.
Velcro, got that la Carmelo. Go dumb like weirdos. I block me on Fados. In the neighborhood, I can't go. I'm half marshmallow. I'm half marshmallow.
It is reaction video time. You click the title, you read the page, so you know it's about to go down, man. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're feeling great. Now, if you don't know who Trap Lord Ross is, then listen, maybe you live under a rock. Maybe you're just not in tune, but don't worry though, because I'm about to put you up on game. Now, Trap Lord Ross is a YouTuber, and in his videos specialize on the trenches, the hood, beefs between artists. Not all his videos are negative, you know, some of them are educational purposes. Like, for example, he did a video on how Frank Ocean cheated Def Jam out of shitload of money. And, you know, I actually learned a lot from that video. Now, he did a video, and I'm from Brooklyn, right? So he did a video on the Lokes in Brooklyn. And that was very interesting to me, because being from Brooklyn, half the shit he was talking about, I knew. So I was like, okay, so he did do his research, but he's doing his research based on public records, based on like law enforcement details, based on tweets. So, you know, certain street shit ain't gonna hit the internet. If it's real street shit, it should not hit the internet. So like I said, me being from Brooklyn, some of the shit that he was talking about, I was like, okay, I see why you would say that based on the information that you have present, but nah, they ain't really what went down. You feel me? So I say that to say you do have to question some of his information based on he's just doing the research. He's not actually in tune with the streets. Now, because he's not actually in tune with the streets, a lot of people don't like this guy. You know, a lot of people feels like he's a weirdo. They feel like, you know, like he's like the UK version of academics in a sense. Like academics did the war in Chirac, and that just caused a stir. He just did a 3-hour documentary talking about how King Von is allegedly a serial killer. All right. Now, did I watch the video? No, I'm not going to sit down and watch a 3-hour video. I'm sorry. Like, me being a YouTuber, I wouldn't even put out a 3-hour video. I mean, it's genius. I respect him, but no, hell no, I'm not doing that. And he just recently did an interview. And shout out to the Taboo Room. And the interview was called The Most Wanted YouTuber in the UK. Graduation cap. He's the most wanted YouTuber, period. Like, no one likes this guy. He's done videos on King Von OD times, and his King Von camp, rest in peace King Von. When King Von was alive, he ain't even like it. So his whole camp don't like it. And it's a few things I wanted to get into with this interview. So hit that subscribe. Let's get into it. I had to give you guys a backstory, all right? Bear with me.
I mean, I had people saying they were gonna kill me. They were saying if I come to Chicago, I'm dead. They're going to come and kill me. I had people saying, you know, people said stuff to me like, what, you think we don't got shooters in London? Things like that, you know.
And you see how he looks like. I mean, I respect everything that he do. You know, I respect his creativity. I respect it. Do I agree with it? Hell no. Because I just feel like certain shit just stay off the internet. But then again, he's not the one that's necessarily putting the shit on the internet. He's finding shit and then he's putting it on the internet. So he's kind of like the middleman in a sense. So I kind of want to just, it's kind of like for the streets. Like, streets, stop putting shit on the internet. So, you know, Trap Lord can't, then what he's going to do. Right? So, yeah.
You know, saying we're going to get you touched, we're going to find out where you live.
Good morning, Ross. How are you?
I'm good, man.
Ross, could you start off by telling me where you grew up, what your childhood was like?
Yeah, man. Interesting question. No one's ever asked me that. That's an interesting one. I was born in Croydon in South London, or some people would say Croydon isn't London, but I'm gonna claim it as London. I grew up in Croydon until I was about 5, and then I moved to Bognor Regis, which you may not have heard of, but it's just...
All right, so you see, you get. I wanted you guys to see that so you can see kind of like where he's from in the UK. Now let's get to the rice and beans. All right, let's get when he talks about the interest and shit. And you know what? Me being a YouTuber, and it's the reason why I don't agree with some of the shit that he does, because I'm big on if you ain't got nothing nice to say, you should probably not say it, or at least tone it down a bit so you don't. People got family. And the whole idea of calling someone a serial killer who one is not even here to defend his name, to me is just crazy. It's just crazy, and you're the only person that feel that way. No one else feel like King Von's a serial killer. So I don't know. That's just why I just don't agree with certain things.
Then I almost was like, oh great, I found something that works. Let me just keep doing the opposite. And I just kept sort of failing, not really getting anywhere. And then eventually, like I was chilling with a friend of mine, and he kind of said to me, like, you're super into hip hop. You're always talking about how much you love rap, and you're always telling all these hip hop stories about all the rappers that you love. He was like, why don't you make a video telling those stories? And my immediate response was, look, no one wants to hear a white guy from Bognor talking about hip hop. But
Shit, believe it or not, my first Trap Lord Ross video that I seen that had me hooked was, I think it was the Frank Ocean, how Frank Ocean cheated his record label out of shitload of money. And I was actually like impressed. Like, this nigga really sat here and took the time out to do and research that. He actually motivated me to step my YouTube game up. That type of video I like. The video on why Jay-Z shot his brother, he did a video on that, allegedly, I don't know. Why Jay-Z allegedly shot his brother. He did a video on that, and that was fire. When he started going on the mixy side, it's like, ooh, you playing with fire.
it gave it a try. It turns out, actually, they do.
And what was the first hip hop story you did?
The very first proper hip-hop story I did, and shoot his own brother, who'd been stealing. Then I did a video on how Frank Ocean finessed the record
That's what I was telling you guys about.
that you like and that you enjoy making, and then you're going to end up going somewhere. If you're making stuff you hate, or you're just trying to try something different, I just loved it. I just kept coming back to it. I was like I was almost like an abused partner. Just like YouTube would just slap me around and give me no results, and I'd waste all my time, and I'd just be like, let me give it one more shot. But in the end, it all worked out.
And I guess, when did your life start changing? When did you start getting recognised, or do you get recognised in the streets?
Yeah, I do get recognized, man. It's a weird one. I still don't really have my head around it. Like, for me, it just seems so weird. I think because I spent so many years not getting the love, it kind of still doesn't feel real to me. I've probably been...
My tea was tasting crazy.
I probably, barely just now, I've probably been successful on YouTube about as long as I was unsuccessful on YouTube.
All right, where's the rice and beans? Let's get to the rice and beans. Because I watched the whole interview, and it was key points that I wanted to touch on.
Humane, trapping out the bando. Trapping has always been a big part of hip-hop culture. And I just had this idea of doing like folklore from the trap base that kind of does these hip-hop, true crime, gangster videos. He really kills it at that kind of content. And he did a video about King Von that really inspired me. He called it the soft-spoken assassin. And ironically, like, that video came out and Von started calling himself the soft-spoken assassin on Instagram. So clearly he was kind of into what was going on. But I decided, you know what, let me do a couple videos on Von. I found the guy fascinating. So I did a few videos on him, actually did 3 videos on him. And King Von didn't like those videos. This was when he was live. This was mid-2020. He was not.
So King Von didn't like the videos when he was alive. And you say you respected him. Well, no, you say you liked him as an artist. So if he didn't like the videos while he was alive, why would you do whatever?
Not pleased. So he struck my videos down with fake copyright strikes. This guy described himself as Von's manager, but I don't believe he was Von's manager. I think he was a bit hanger-on. I won't say his name because he's lame. But essentially, this guy, he sort of hit me up, threatening me, saying that he was going to take down my channel. They did 3 false copyright claims, saying that the song Crazy Story was in the video, which is not. I never put songs in the videos. But they were going to take my channel. You get 3 strikes and you're out. It's like baseball on YouTube. So they were going to take my channel down. I was about to be Von's latest pack, my channel. But in the end, I negotiated with them and we agreed that I would remove all of the content relating to the murder of KI from my videos. As we now know, Von was seemingly, allegedly, responsible for that murder of KI. So they pressured me to kind of suppress this information about a murder that Von was seemingly involved in. So that was my first experience interacting with King Von. Wasn't the most pleasant, and I kind of vowed after that not to do any more content on King Von. Come to find out, in November, get the very surprising news that Von was unfortunately shot dead in Atlanta.
So basically, once he got the clear that Vaughn was gone, it was like, okay, let me destroy his name. I'm trying to. This is what I want to discuss. Certain parts I was like, I like Trap Lord, but certain shit he was saying, I was just totally not agreeing with it. And I'm not saying, oh, just because a certain person don't like a video, then you should probably do it. But if an artist, if you could possibly destroy your artist in any way, shape, or form, with certain, why do it? Like this man worked hard to be where he at, where he was. So it's like, come on now, may he rest in peace.
After that, I kind of felt like, well, maybe I will cover Von again. Maybe the guy's passed away now, and more information was coming out about him from all different sources. Why not talk about him? He was one of the biggest trending topics in hip hop, and I couldn't talk about him because the guy pressured me, and he's a killer. I'm not really trying to be on his wrong side. So I did a few more videos, sort of on my second channel, just about Von and his history. But in my head, I'd always had this idea of like, he's always got these lyrics where he says he's got 7 bodies. That's no secret. There's tons of Von lyrics where he says, I got several bodies. Talk about bodies, I got several. Talk about bodies, I got a few. 4 plus 3, 3 plus 2. The guy has said 1,000,000 times he's got 7 bodies. So I always had this idea, what if I did a video where I just say once and for all, who are these 7 bodies and did he really do them? Is there any proof? What really connects him to these bodies? So I started looking into that, and I very quickly begun to realize it seemed very obvious that he had killed 7 people. It seemed like he wasn't capping. And everybody said, Von's the realist. Von don't cap. Von don't cap rap. He's real. And he said he had 7 bodies. Apparently that was real.
That is, I mean, if this is, listen, he's holding some good points here.
And the more I looked into it, the more it became clear to me he does kill people. He likes killing people. He gets pleasure from killing people. And at a certain point, I looked up the FBI definition.
And you see, this is that white boy shit right here. And I'm gonna check it real quick. Nigga, Von grew up in the hood. You gotta adapt to your surroundings. That don't necessarily mean that he liked his situation or he liked to be put in situations where he had to get the situation situated. You feel me? So you can't say the way he's making it seem like it's Von did what he did and he enjoyed it. Allegedly. No, man. Like, you grow up in situations and, man, it sucks being in the hood. Come on now. Nobody want to be in the fucking trenches. Nobody want to be, come on. Like, what are we talking about here?
Of a serial killer. And it said you got to kill 3 or more people in different locations with time between them of more than a month. And to get personal gratification from the killings. The more I looked into it, the more I realized that Von fit the description of a serial killer. And while I was working on that project, I essentially just realized at a certain point, like, this is a serial killer documentary. I'm covering a serial killer. And, I decided towards the end of the story, I was like, I'm going to call the video King Von Rap's First Serial Killer, because that's what I think he was. And that's no disrespect. I think his music's great. I think he's an incredible artist. He had an amazing way with words. But he seemingly killed a bunch of people and took great pleasure in it. And by the FBI's definition, that made him a serial killer. And
yeah, touching on the feedback that you had from that.
Yeah, the FBI have a lot of definitions that ain't what it's supposed to be.
What was the most negative thing that was said to you?
I mean, I had people saying they were going to kill me. They were saying if I come to Chicago, I'm dead. They're going to come and kill me. I had people saying, people said stuff to me like, what, you think we don't got shooters in London? Things like that, saying we're going to get you touched. We're going to find out where you live.
Boy, because you messing with them real Chirac hitters, man. You over here doing documentaries. I know he feel like he can't travel nowhere, and that's the crazy part. Like, damn, imagine feeling like you can't go nowhere. That shit crazy.
All kinds of weird stuff. And on the one hand, that was kind of scary. But on the other hand, Von's not even here anymore. Von's got 1 million songs saying that he killed 7 people. So really, it just felt like people were just trying to suppress the truth, or just trying to get me down because they didn't like what I was putting out there. But it was the exact same sentiment that Von was putting out there himself. But it was a difficult time, and I'd be lying if I said it didn't affect my mental health. Getting people threatening to kill me, feeling unsafe, even in my own country.
All money ain't good money, so why do it?
It was a tough experience to go through, and despite the success of...
Yo, Traveler, if you ever see this video, man, I want to have a conversation with you on some real heart-to-heart shit. Like, why put your life at danger for some fucking money? I'm sorry, ain't no way. And I ain't playing scary, but I'm playing smart. Why make my life harder? Why put myself into some beef just because? Come on now, hell no.
of the video, I had people, including Von's own cousin, you know, kind of try and take down the video. And for a period, they were successful. The video has been taken down 2 or 3 times at this point. And I've got to say thank you to YouTube. Despite it being a little bit difficult and it taking some time, they usually, YouTube.
All right, something else I wanted to get into. Hit that subscribe. Tell me how you feeling. Drop a comment. It's around here.
For me, with the 4K Trey Slimes behind him. But at the end of the day, I'm very respectful. Youngboy is one of my favorites.
Okay, this is it. So his next victim, I'm gonna say victim because man, Youngboy probably ain't gonna like this. He said he's apparently gonna do a documentary on Youngboy. It's about
Polite, you know, don't kick off at YouTube. Don't diss YouTube publicly. Like, they are quite reasonable if you just take time and talk to them and try and get them to understand. But that does create a lot of stress, and I'd be lying if I said that I hadn't thought of quitting and doing something else in the last kind of 3 or 4 months. You know, it's tough.
If he wasn't a YouTuber, what would you be?
It's tough, man. In some ways, I don't even want to think about it, but I think I love business. Like, I love entrepreneurship. I'd love to create products that maybe appeal to kind of the same audience that my videos appeal to, the kind of hip-hop audience. 12 murders in his hometown. Products for those kinds of people, my kind of people. But I don't know how that looks. Hopefully, I won't have to do that anytime soon.
And what's next? What would be the next video to expect, or what you're working on at the moment?
I've spent the last few months working on a video about Youngboy. It's funny because Youngboy's got a lot.
You just got threatened by a whole bunch of Chirac. And now you want to do a video on Youngboy, who's still alive, who has the temper of a goddamn crazy person. Are you sure you want to do this?
A lot of lyrics where he talks about having 7 bodies, 12 bodies, 12 murders in his hometown. And a lot of people have kind of dissed me when the Von video came out and said, well, Youngboy says he's got 12 bodies. Is he a serial killer too? And I took that as a challenge. And I said, you know what, let me sit down and do the same thing. Let me give Youngboy the same treatment I gave Von and try and work out once and for all, like, is Youngboy the gravedigger that he says he is? And I think it'll be very interesting when that video is done. I won't spoil it, but you'll find out when that drops. Hopefully soon.
Drop a comment if you plan on watching it.
But it's been a tough journey.
And I guess, are you anxious about dropping that at all because of the feedback that you had already?
Thank you.
Bro, I'm dying with anxiety. I'm so scared. I'm so stressed. It's shaping up to be the longest video I've ever done. I don't mean any disrespect by this, but like, Youngboy's still alive. So if Youngboy don't like what I say about him, I'm going to be in trouble because, you know what I'm saying, Youngboy's going to be coming for me with
Exactly. So why do it?
the with the 4K Trey Slimes behind him. But at the end of the day, I'm very respectful. Youngboy's one of my favorite artists. I love Youngboy's music, top to bottom. I've listened to every Youngboy song that is at least on streaming services, and I'm hopefully going to do his story justice. But I'm a huge Youngboy fan.
Do you reckon the fact that he's alive, your narrative will be slightly different?
Yo, he asked us some good ass questions too. No funny.
I think the narrative will be slightly different, not just because he's alive and I'm scared of him. I'm a little bit scared of Youngboy. I'm not going to cap. But I would say it's different purely because Youngboy's story is still being written. You know, unfortunately, Von passed away before his time, before he could see his career through to where it could have been, but also before he could have seen justice for some of the bad stuff he did. And now we're seeing this big indictment drop where Von is basically being named as the ringleader in the murder of FBG Duck, which I've discussed extensively on the channel. Youngboy's still got an outstanding case.
Alright, I'm about to head out. Y'all drop a comment, let me know your thoughts. Man, prayers up for Trap Lord for real, cause he bugging.